Local news that matters. This is Eyewitness News.
Early voting kicks off Saturday in the Empire State. We have the list of early voting locations and times right here at your local election headquarters. Senators and political analysts are sounding off as new evidence of election interference using AI deepfakes on social media is uncovered. And President Biden has given a historic apology, the first to Native Americans, for the federal government's role in the Indian boarding school system. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of Eyewitness News. As always, I'm Thomas Payer. Early voting in New York State starts on Saturday, and the window for early voting closes next Sunday. There are 7 early voting locations that will be open in our area. In Oneida County, these early voting polling places are at MVCC in Utica in the Alumni College Center, room 116, the New Hartford Town Office, the Whitestown Town Hall, and the South Rome Senior Center on Ridge Street. Early voting in Oneida County will take place on the weekends from 9 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 to 6, and then on Tuesday and Thursday from noon until 8 p.m. In Herkimer County, the only early voting location is at the Holy Family Parish on Main Street in Little Falls. Voting hours there are daily from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m., except Tuesday and Wednesday, when voting hours will be noon to 8. Voters in Otsego County will have 2 early voting sites to choose from, the Foothills Performing Arts Center in Oneonta or the Meadows Office Complex in Cooperstown. Voting hours in Otsego County are daily from 9 to 5, except on Tuesday and Thursday, when voting hours will be noon until 8 p.m. And if you've not yet registered to vote, time is running out. You can register online through your county board of elections or by mail. However, that second option might not be so timely since your registration has to arrive at your county board by tomorrow. You should be able to register in person at your county's Board of Elections. The closeness of the election and the temperature of the rhetoric are factors in the decision behind one local county's decision to remove the box it had designated to be a drop-off site for absentee ballots. The Delaware County Board of Elections announced this week on social media that they were removing the box from outside the board office in Delhi. Board commissioners cited security issues and a contentious election as the reasons behind the decision. County officials say that the box was located in an area that does not have 24-hour security. Absentee ballots can still be mailed in or dropped off at the Delaware County Board of Elections. Let's go now to our Capitol correspondent, Jamie DeLine, who has some important deadlines voters should know ahead of Election Day, as well as the latest Siena poll data on the presidential election.
Election Day is now less than 2 weeks away. The latest Siena poll showing New York voters are favoring Vice President Kamala Harris in the race for the White House.
And what we see is that Vice President Kamala Harris, the Democratic presidential nominee, has opened a 19-point lead over former President Donald Trump, the Republican. Right now, 58% of likely New York voters say they're with Harris, 39% say they're with Trump.
It's not just the presidential race on the ballot this year. There's also hotly contested congressional races as well. Key races in central New York, the Hudson Valley, and Long Island can play a role in which party controls the House of Representatives. If you plan on casting your ballot, October 26 is the voter registration deadline and the deadline to request either an early mail or absentee ballot.
Early voting is also starting this Saturday, October 26th, and it runs for 9 days from Saturday the 26th right up through Sunday, November 3rd.
When returning an early mail or absentee ballot, it must be postmarked by November 5th and needs to be received by the County Board of Elections by November 12th. Kathleen McGrath, Director of Public Information at the New York State Board of Elections, reminds everyone to make sure they flip to the back side of the ballot as well.
There is one statewide ballot proposal. It is Prop 1. That'll be on everyone's ballot across the state. You may have other local ballot proposals on your ballot that would also be on the same side.
Election Day is November 5th. Reporting in Albany, I'm Jamie DeLine.
U.S. officials are sounding the alarm over election misinformation online. They're warning of foreign actors trying to sow discord with fake videos and images. Washington correspondent Maddie Beertemple reports on the warnings and how you can be aware of the risk.
It's good advice always.
Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true.
But especially now, Senate Intelligence Chairman Mark Warner says foreign adversaries are expected to ramp up disinformation ahead of the election, often with fake videos or images on social media.
If you had a deep fake that appeared to be an election official destroying ballots, not only could that, drive further dissension, but it could literally lead to political violence.
Warner says the threat is mostly from Russia, Iran, and China. The director of national intelligence says those countries, quote, remain intent on fanning divisive narratives to divide Americans.
What they do is create lies.
Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn says she was recently a target of Chinese disinformation. She says social media platforms and users have a role to play in recognizing those posts.
What people need to do is build their awareness. Go to a reliable news outlet. They need to go to a reliable source.
But how can you tell?
It's almost a task that's too hard for us individually.
George Washington University professor Neil Johnson says it's getting harder by the day.
So it's no longer a case of looking for 6 fingers or, 3 ears.
Johnson says it's going to take action from government, social media, and journalists to address misinformation.
It's the promotion of distrust and doubt. That's really what it comes down to.
And ultimately, the White House says,
look at this as a national security issue, as an attack on our country.
In Washington, I'm Maddie Beertemple.
President Biden has given a historic apology, the first to Native Americans, for the federal government's role in the Indian boarding school system. Washington, D.C. correspondent Hannah Brandt has the details.
Indigenous culture took center stage as President Biden delivered a historic message to tribal nations.
I formally apologize as President of the United States of America for what we did.
This is the first time the federal government has apologized for forcing Native American children into boarding schools. For over 150 years, the U.S. took hundreds of indigenous children from their homes and tried to assimilate them into white society. Many were abused and even killed.
The pain it has caused will always be a significant mark of shame, a blot on American history.
The apology came after Interior Secretary Deb Haaland spearheaded an investigation into the boarding schools. Not only is Haaland the country's first Native American cabinet secretary, her grandparents were forced into those boarding schools. She recognized the importance of the apology while wiping away tears.
In spite of everything that has happened, we are still here.
The moment is also emotional for Ruth Anna Buffalo, who's with the National Native American Boarding School Healing Coalition.
For me, it's good, it's hopeful, but it does have a heaviness to it.
She calls the apology a good step.
We're thankful that today is happening, but the work continues to move forward.
She also wants to see legislation to further investigate Indian boarding school policies and more funding for tribal nations to address homelessness and opioid use.
Our Native relatives are overrepresented, whether it's in prisons, jails, or even on the streets. And so we need a lot of help.
In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
To stay up to date on your local news, sports, and weather, visit our website, cnyhomepage.com. And don't forget to download our CNY homepage app so you never miss the local news that matters. Let's go now to meteorologist Jim Danner, who has tonight's Eyewitness weather forecast.
Good Friday evening, meteorologist Jim Danner here with a look at your forecast. Here's your weather headlines. Still expecting to see some showers overnight tonight, some cooler temperatures for your weekend, as we have our next cold front will come through early tomorrow morning, generally before sunrise for Utica, and of course a little bit later as you go further east in the viewing area. But regardless, showers and cooler temperatures on the way, and then a gradual warming trend after that. The next couple of days, temperatures pretty consistent from all across the area. Temperatures low to mid 50s Saturday and Sunday. Now the showers tomorrow morning, that will be, say, sunrise, mid-morning or so. Then we'll have that pretty much break up until the afternoon. There's another little push of upper level energy, and that will bring some showers around. But by Sunday, looking beautiful across the area, but on the cool side. Current temperatures out there right now, 40s to near 50 degrees north, and then low to mid 50s into even near 60 degrees. Pittsburgh right now at 61, and Harrisburg at 55, 51 out at Syracuse. All right, satellite and radar together. This is what we've been seeing out there. Again, the clouds starting to make their way in, and that's going to kind of provide that little blanket. So temperatures where they are right now, they will not move a whole lot. Still going to need to have a jacket or even a light coat to start off the day tomorrow. The front, again, is out towards our west, and it will work its way in Western areas around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and around sunrise for Utica, and then of course a little bit later for folks eastward. So about a 40% chance of some showers tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon. Then we'll break the rain chances out until Friday. That's when our next front will come through after the one tomorrow, bringing us another chance of rain. So we've got that big cool down with temperatures in the low to mid 50s through Monday, then near 60 on Tuesday. And look at this big warm up. That's the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday time frame. That front's going to work its way in on Friday, bringing us that chance of rain and some cooler temperatures once again. So here's Futurecast. Going to put this in motion for overnight tonight into the first part of the day tomorrow. There's the front. Again, by 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, it should be through Utica, working its way eastward. And then once it passes through, we get a little break in the showers until Saturday afternoon. Then there's another push of some showers with some upper level energy. Once it passes through, that's going to be it. Then we're going to finally see that drier air coming in from the northwest for Sunday afternoon and into Monday. Could see a couple little showers off towards the north on Sunday, but again, not expecting a whole lot. In fact, we're going to keep the rain chances under 20% for Sunday. Winds will be out of the northwest, gusting up around 25 to 30 miles per hour as that front initially pushes through overnight tonight. Then the winds will come down to 10 to 15 miles an hour, still out of the northwest, with temperatures for tomorrow afternoon only in the lower 50s. Low to mid 50s all the way through Monday. There again, that's our first front. Then we'll see the warm up late in the day Tuesday into Wednesday, Thursday, and then a next front with another chance of showers early on Friday. Temperatures falling from the 70s Wednesday and Thursday back to the upper 50s, lower 60s by Friday afternoon.
Thanks, Jim, and thank you for watching this special edition of Eyewitness News. I'm Thomas Payer. You can find me on Facebook by searching Thomas Payer-Eyewitness News. Goodbye.